Mr. Selly, thank you for your service, and thank all of those men and women who you represent for their service as well. That's why we're here today, as the result of their efforts, and we thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Where do you think we can help, or where are we failing with regards to the veterans groups here? How can we best, I know that the Chairman asked a great question a minute ago with regards to
the Veterans Corporation.
Veterans corporations and the SBA. Is there something else you want to elaborate on that perhaps and enlighten us a little bit more how we can do a better job?
Well, I want to thank the Chairman and Ranking Member. These are excellent questions, and they really do get to the heart of the matter, not only with the question specifically with regard that you've asked me, but the other panelists as well, because let's face it, an entrepreneur really is an entrepreneur at heart, and we all face the same issues. The distance learning, I think, is a critical piece. Last year or 2 years ago, I did a Boston to Baghdad class where I had soldiers downrange that obviously couldn't come to class, and we broadcast over the internet through a teleconferencing system. I'm a SCORE counselor, and the way I was recruited to become a SCORE counselor is because when I started my counseling program in Boston, I went to SCORE and I said, hey, can you send me 4 or 5 counselors over the course of a couple of weeks so that I can start my programs? And they said, we're really not built that way. And I said, gee, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the dynamics of your organization. How can I help you? They gave me an application. So I think that the most important thing to take away from testimony or from hearings such as this and the laws and the proposed regulations that are being introduced here is that we all operate in a very cooperative society, and we want to work together. We want to leverage each other's resources. We want to be able to work not independently, but as a team through these federal appropriations so that we're not spending the same dollars on the same services on the same client in many cases, so that we can work together. So, again, I
just frame my bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I couldn't resist. Go ahead.
I just think that it's our responsibility as responsible grantees to make sure that we make the best use of our money and of your intentions. And I think that this committee, the overall committee, this subcommittee, has exactly the right focus, and that is to start to interweave these programs together and really force everybody to play in the same sandbox. 2 thumbs up, sir. Again, thank you. You just made my case. I'm going to have you do my briefing from now on. How's that? Mr. Klotz, very briefly, return on investment 3-to-1. Wow, that's impressive. That's a great number, and it's a great story to tell for small business development centers, for what they can do and the value that they have. What do you think Mr. Selly just probably put it more succinctly than even I can do that with regards to the entrepreneurial development programs. How do you think we can better fit them together? Where do you see some cracks here that things are falling through?
I think Mr. Selly put that very well. Have cooperative agreements between service providers and maybe within a geographic area, not to have 5 or 6 or 8 programs, all of which seem to have the similar function, but maybe carve out specialties and work together. I know at our particular Small Business Development Center, we have a close relationship with our SCORE chapter. And what SCORE will do is for their very first-time clients, they'll tell them they need to go through our SBDC, how to start a business seminar first. So, and then we then have access to their list of volunteers and expertise, so that when we find that entrepreneur with a particular business type or industry, we can match them up with a counselor there as well. So I think it's just utilizing the resources that in large part are already there, but just coordinating them.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Ms. Gray-Proctor, thank you for your testimony today. How many other, or how much underfunded do you believe you are with regards to the different tribal groups that have needs? I know you mentioned the ones in North Carolina. Of course, that's pretty near and dear to the chairman's heart here. But yes. Are there other groups out there that have dropped their their services as a result of funding?
Exactly, and that's why, you know, the disparity of the funding. Some of the programs we lost weren't refunded because what we serve is a nationwide. I mean, it's in the lower 48 and of course up in Alaska as well. And you know, we can't be all things to all people. But you know what? I really got a lot of good ideas about long distance learning, and we have Native American veterans. Of course, I'm a woman entrepreneur myself and have had my company for 11 years. So, you know, the funding issues is that, you know, our voice hasn't always been heard because our difference is, as different from what my panelists here, is that the social needs have to come with the economic needs in our Indian communities. We have, of course, you know, I'm just going to throw out some statistics. We have the highest rate of teenage suicide, dropout. So if we look at helping our economic needs in Indian country, which is all over the United States and our Indian communities, we'll be able to help those needs if we help give them the hope of the entrepreneurial spirit, which is historically, that's where Native Americans, we were formed. We were tribe to tribe. If they had corn over here and we had beans, we traded. It was a trade that we've done historically for years, 200, 300, 400 years prior to us being a country. We did it, we had commerce way before. So we do need to have that money infused because we have, you know, our reservations are needing that help for entrepreneur, Pine Ridge, and also you can get me started on doing tax credits on Indian land and everything else that we can think of. But it's having these centers funded and having them spread out across the United States that we're able to help to do a far-reaching. And I'm just glad that I've got to be able to be up here with them because I'm going to call on them, you know, for the veterans and for, I want to know more about SCORE and, you know, in the long-distance learning. It's just great. So anyway,
Thank you
for the opportunity.
Thank you. And for those of you who couldn't pronounce my name, don't worry about it. Nobody else can either. Our press secretary still hasn't got it right. So.